Here's our second fireside chat. It's just sitting here. I love being right here. I am here now. I don't feel that good because I didn't eat soon enough, and now I'm not exactly sure what to do. But Saturday, my husband's at work. I was just sitting here thinking, about my husband and my dad, and feeling a lot of compassion for people and women who are hateful towards white men. Feeling lots of compassion. Love plus understanding. Like boatloads and boatloads and boatloads of compassion for all the people who hate white males because they don't have what I have. I have the best husband that ever existed. He acts like it's his mission to hire as many people to do as many things as he can. He loves supporting other families. It's like he's got this inner drive to provide income let me just tell you this. So he teaches welding, and then he has recreated his family welding business by teaching. The shop was not doing that great, and I took him on a Valentine's Day date to a glass blowing place, a glass making place, and he got inspired to teach welding. He said, maybe I can supplement our income at the shop through teaching classes. And now they're teaching so much. They're teaching welding so much that it's just a beautiful thing. So I'll take a little bit of credit. Hold on. Let me get that. Okay, so here's my husband. He was teaching this class. There was this woman who's from Dominican Republic. Her husband came over, and he didn't speak English. And she bought him a welding class, and he loved the shop. And after his welding class was over, so my husband taught this guy how to weld. But he didn't need to teach him everything because the guy clearly had some machining and some welding under his belt. And he was just such a happy man from Dominican Republic. And he was happy because he's reunited with his wife in the United States of America. And she's doing all the, talking, speaking English. And after his lesson, that he smiled all the way through, she asked if they could stick around and take pictures of the machines and whatever. And he was taking pictures. Dave said, sure, no problem. So they're moving around the shop, and this guy is smiling, and he's like looking to take a picture but not taking the picture. And so she says something, to him in a language my husband can't understand. And it occurs to her like, oh, this guy might think I'm talking about him. And so she looks at Dave and she says, I just said to him, they're machines, they're not going to smile, take the picture already. But she didn't want to waste Dave's time. And so we thought that was really funny. So they hung out for a little bit after the lesson. And Dave came home, and then they scheduled another lesson. And I don't know if it was after the first lesson or after the second lesson. My husband comes home, and he's clearly got something on his mind. I'm like, what? And he's like, I feel like I gotta hire this guy. Like he's got a lot of natural talent, and I said, well, follow your heart if that's what you think. He's like, yeah, I think I gotta hire this guy. So he starts telling our friends and his family, about this guy. And a lot of people were like, you can't hire somebody that can't speak English. And Dave's like, I think I can. Which is nudging. Dave's like, I think I can. I think I can work with him, and I think that I can, because I've taught him, and whatever. So I told Dave, just do what you think you should do. What's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst? So after Dave listened to me, and he listened to everybody else tell him that they didn't think it was a good idea, Dave teaches the guy another lesson, and at the end of the lesson he says, through the wife, because he can't speak English yet, so he says to this guy's wife, would you like a job here? Would you like to work here? And they think, and so she translates that to this guy, and I think they were confused, like, we must have that wrong, like that. And now he works for us. And he, like, in the beginning when he was trying to learn English, well, no, he was learning English. He wasn't trying. He was actually learning English. And I would say, hi, and he would want to have a communication or show respect, whatever. And he was like, we had dogs in the shop. We had one of our dogs, Kato, was in the shop, and then there's another dog in the shop. And I said, hi. And, this guy was wanting to communicate, but not. So he says to me, the dogs say, or whatever. And I laugh, because it's like, it's just cool. It's cool. Like, my husband's awesome. This old man came in, wanted his shovel fixed. And his partner would have been like, no, we're not doing that. The thing was like, I don't know how old. The shovel was like 40 years old. And, the minimum shop charge was like at least $80 at the time. So, Dave goes, yeah, I'll fix it. And he goes, okay, great. And so Dave spent like an hour and a half or something on this old guy's shovel. And the guy's like, how much? Dave's like, $10. So the guy pays him. He goes on, and I'm like, and I said to my husband, I go, that's the stuff that makes me like fall in love with you, like on a over again, even though we're already married, So he's just this really great guy, and now he's got these really great people working. These young kids, this lady Donna, who I was doing that job, and I hated it. I hated that job so much. And I threw a little mental tantrum that finally blasted out of me when I was doing the dishes, because it's like, I got to get the kids on the bus, then I got to run to the shop, and then I got to do everything I could do, and then I got to hurry up, leave, and I'm just not good at the office stuff. And Dave goes, I was thinking, maybe we should hire someone. I'm like, great. So we hired this awesome person. So now he's got this group that he's just handpicked from the world to help him run his business. And now it's Saturday, and he's working again. He's 61 years old, and he works 6 days a week, and he loves it. And he's happy as long as I'm fine. So, hi, I'm talking about you. So one day I was really stressed out, and he said, it's on my Renegade Yogi cups. And he goes, look, tomorrow just make these cups. This makes you happy. And he said, don't do any dishes. Don't do any cleaning. Don't do any laundry. Just make cups. And I was like, well, he's like, no, just make these cups. Don't do anything but make cups all day, because that's what makes you happy. The dog's just getting, So I did. Because all he wants is for me to be happy. And I had a great day. And he saw the dishes in the sink, and he saw the house was a wreck, and he saw these cups. And he picked up one of my cups. He picks up one of my cups and goes, see, these are beautiful. No one could do this. The only one that could do this. These are great. These are great. All right. So I know that I'm luckier than most people. Anything you want to say, Dave?
Life's good.
Keep smiling. He said, life's good. Keep smiling. Okay. So I know that I'm the luckiest person alive. And I know that the people who... And then you got my dad. My dad, huge can of PTSD, Bay of Pigs invasion. Dad tried to kill him. He tried to kill his dad because his dad was beating his mom, all this stuff. He had to raise his younger sister and brother because his parents were alcoholics. I love them all. We love them all. My dad goes, like later on. So there's all this drama with that. And then there was drama with my mom because my dad was an alcoholic, and then she kicked him out, told him he's never going to see his kids again because the cops came to our house to arrest him because he flipped a car and left the scene of the crime, and it left the scene and then went to work as an international corporate pilot. And so the cops came to arrest him, and he was in another country, and so it became a bigger deal. Yep, my mom kicked him out, so he's never see his kids again. Then he had to quit drinking in order to get back in the house. So my dad adored my mother, but he never, ever felt deserving of her. And my mom was this special sort of like angel person that doesn't get to live to 60. And my dad always said she was too good. She was too good for this world. And if he says it, he starts crying. So she died in 2001, and it's 2021, April 25th, 2001. So 20 years ago, and he's still in love with her. And he is such a loving person, but he's been through so much that he refuses to heal, that he's just sort of like, you know, it's easy for people to take him the wrong way, but he's such an awesome person. And he never felt worthy of my mother. And all their drama really came from him fighting her, loving him. Okay, like he wasn't good enough, wasn't worthy. And she saw through it. I didn't until I got older. So when I was a kid, I used to get really pissed at him. And I used to not talk to him. And I would look at him and he'd say, please, please talk to me, please. Please say something to me before I go on this trip. Please just say something. Because he'd leave for like weeks and months to go fly for American Express. And I would have to decide whether I was going to say anything to him or not as a young child. And I'd just look at him and I don't yike you, Daddy. And he'd cry, burst into tears, and he'd be like, thank you, thank you. Thank you for talking to me. And he would hug me, and I wouldn't hug him back. I just pushed him, you know, because he loves us. He loved me, he loved my mom, my brother, he loved us. And he never felt good enough. He never felt adequate. Okay, so we got these white males that people are like persecuting and hating because of how they perceive our past, because they don't realize how hard it was to live back then, just to try and stay alive for a day, for another day, for another day, for another day. And a lot of people became alcoholics, and some people just left their families, or you know, whatever. Like this, I channel this woman that died a long time ago who was on the wagon trains, and she has this great sense of humor, and she's like, these like third wave feminist people, they don't understand what it was like to live back then. Like being on the wagon train and having the Indians come around, like no one speaks the language and they're all screaming and yelling, and they're like, and she says 0.00% of us said, no honey, you hold the baby, I'll go fight the Indians. She's like, we used to see our husbands leave to go fight people who were fighting us. We didn't know who was coming back. We didn't know who, it was like, we were terrorized. And she's not defending fighting. It's just the way it was. Like when you can't communicate with someone and everybody looks so different, it's like, it's so scary. Okay. So, when these people who are talking about, racism, I'm not saying that they're wrong about what they're saying. I have a relative that absorbs the narrative supplied by the controllers, the manipulators. She said, everyone's a racist. I said, I'm not a racist. You can be if you want. And she tries so hard to be a good person, and she tries so hard to follow this narrative, this bullshit that's like given, offered, suggested by the manipulators. And it's just focusing on the past. We've come really far. But to keep creating the story that everyone's a racist is it's stupid, because you're creating racism now. And as much as I love my relatives, and I know they're trying to be good people, and they're trying to help me by saying everyone's a racist, everyone's a racist. This person said, oh, do you know who Idris Elba is? I think I'm getting the name right. And I'm like, no. And she goes, oh, I think he's the most beautiful man. Da, 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 da. And my angels are like, wait till you see. He's black. So she shows me a picture of this gorgeous, tall, young, dark black actor. And she says to me, doesn't he look like, and her husband, who's a 70-year-old, great, wonderful, but 70-year-old white male. And I just went, and I looked at my uncle, and I was like, and he was sort of like, doesn't know what to do with himself, like, knows that it's totally insane. It's insane to compare a wonderful sweetheart of a 70-year-old white male to a tall, young, gorgeous, strapping, like solid. Like all of his features are like, he could have been a statue, he could have been just so beautiful that it's like not human, like so beautiful. And it's like, don't they look alike? And I went, no, they don't. And we were leaving that day, so I didn't make a big deal out of it, but I was like, in my head, I was like, what the fuck? Like, how much programming does a person have to take on? Okay, all right, So it's like you got these social justice warriors trying so hard not to be seen as racist, but they're actually racist. They're trying so hard to be seen as these good people. They're trying so hard. Okay. My son has a friend, and after the shooting in our town that killed 20 kids, they began in doing these live shooter drills. Okay, just putting aside how disgusting that is for a second. Pretending in this elementary school, pretending that someone is breaking into the classroom right now and shooting everybody that they can. That's what a live shooting drill is. So, I'm friends with the mother, and she told me the story. That her son came home, it was a 3rd grade day, said, my teacher doesn't care if I get shot. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he told her this, and he's not an exaggerator, he's not a liar. He goes, we had a live shooter drill today. And she's like, what's that? And he told her. And he said, when we tried to go behind the desk, she said, no, only girls behind the desk, boys in front. So these are these boys, 3rd grade boys. You guys have taught by a teacher, well-meaning, but you can't have this both ways. You can't be equal. You can't be equal, and then you can't claim oppression, and then say you don't want, and say you want equality, and you want to be treated better, and you want to be treated more fairly. Then expect to get drafted. Expect the draft. My son, in 7th grade, bus driver wouldn't let the boys on. Boys to the back, girls on first. The bus, this is before the virus, before any of that. Okay. So I'm not mad at these, whatever you want to call them, 3rd wave feminists, these people just sucking up the narrative. White male's bad. Orange man bad. White male's bad. Patriarchy bad. I realize they don't have access to to talking to dead women that lived a long time ago that said, hey, listen, you motherfuckers, stop making us into victims. We loved our husbands. We loved our sons. We loved our fathers. Nobody was perfect. We had a lot of alcoholism. We had a lot of suicides. People couldn't handle how hard life was. Well, we fucking lived, and you're here now. Shut the fuck up. Love your husbands. Love your brothers. Love your men. Love yourselves. Love your own lives. You have it so easy because we got through and we got you there. Let's see. There's a story I want to tell. I think it's kind of funny. What was that story? I'll think of it, maybe. Anyway. Osho, enlightened master from India, wrote a book called What Now, Adam? Talked about men's empowerment. Men, white males, have been getting shit on, just like black people were shit on, just like women were shit on, like that. Now, I used to combat all this. Before I was actually saying what I really wanted to say, I used to say, anyone who wants to reconcile white privilege in their mind, go to the American Soldier Burial Ground in Normandy, France. Just see all the white privilege beneath your feet in the thousands of graves. There were some black males in that. But it's thousands of dead white young men who got to enjoy their privilege for a little while. They're all younger than 30, I think. I stood on the beach in Normandy and I looked up at the cliff that they had to climb. And I saw a video in the museum of you die here on the beach, or you die as a brave soldier. Oh my God, it was sickening. The video, like, these guys, these privileged white males, these young privileged white males, getting shot at as they're scaling a cliff, and climbing over their dead friends and other soldiers climbing over dead bodies, some people that you might know, climbing over dead soldiers just to get to the top. You either die here on the beach or you die climbing. Make your choice. Da, 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 da. So the war stuff, all the battle stuff, all the war stuff is very inspirational. My son had a baseball teacher, and he ran this camp. And a lot of the other mothers and I would stay to listen to this guy, Matt, give his speech of the day. Oh my God. And then we'd show up early for pickup so we could hear his end of the day speech. We'd tell these kids, whoever dropped you off and whoever's picking you up right now, you thank them. You thank them for getting you here. I'm so grateful because I understand. And I've had issues with men. Trust me. My life has not been sunshine and roses when it comes to men. Okay, I swear to God. But I have a great husband. I have a great father. Not perfect, but he forgave his father, who was also very imperfect. And I was very close to my grandfather. My dad's dead, living in Florida. I finished flight school, and I used to go see him. He was in the nursing home. I used to see him twice a day. And I brought him a police scanner. And I would, before I went flying, I would turn the frequency to tower at Stuart Witham Field, SUA. So from his nursing home, he could hear me on the radio. I told him, I'm going to be flying, I don't remember the numbers, but Sierra Charlie. And it was this nasty old plane that was really scary. And it ended in SC. And so I had to call it Sierra Charlie. So it's like 19 Sierra Charlie. We called it Scary Charlie because the thing was such a hunk of crap. It was so heavy, but I needed to build time, so I was willing to fly. Okay, so, and I was, I would say, ready for takeoff, and they'd say, clear for takeoff. I'd say, clear for takeoff. 19 Sierra Charlie, hey, Pop. And then he'd clear me to land, clear for touch and go, and I'd be clear for touch and go, hi, Pop. And then after I parked the plane and tied it down, I'd go over to the nursing home, and I'd say, did you hear me? And he'd go, yep. I loved my grandfather. I used to bring him candy, and I was really poor at the time. I used to buy him candy, and I'd bring him candy because he loved candy, chocolates and whatever. And I'd say, what kind do you want? And he'd say, bring me this kind or bring me that kind tomorrow, or I'm running low. I'd check his candy supply. And he's like, bring me these next time. I said, okay. He goes, that's her favorite. I said, whose favorite? He was giving candy to all the nurses. So the candy that I was supplying him, he was giving to the nurses. And he would have me buy the nurses' favorites. And so they loved coming to his room. And he loved getting visited. And at first I was like, oh my God, I'm spending money on candy for the nurses. And I was like, oh my God. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, I see how it works. I'm supplying him the candy, but I can't decide how he spends his candy. You know, I have to give freely, let him decide what to do with it. Otherwise, it's not really giving. If I'm like, no, you eat all your candy yourself, he'll turn into a big potato on toothpicks, you know, he'll turn into a big pile of body, you know. So giving when you can freely give is the way to give. But anyway, I understand these women have no ability to see what it feels like to be someone like me who has a husband who loves to weld, supply paychecks, feel productive. So that's really like what it is to be these white males. Like the best forms of the white males are like my husband and my dad. My dad is not young, and he goes down, he opens the chickens and goat, because we lost Cupcake. So I used to call my goats my greatest of all times. You know, like they call Tom Brady the greatest of all time, the GOAT. And it's like, people hate him. If you hate someone who's that inspiring and that good at what they do, then you keep it from coming to you. If you're jealous or you hate them, just hate these white males. These people that hate white males, I know about slavery. I know what you guys are saying about like how this country was built, slave labor. I know, I listen to all your, and you're not 100% wrong, so I'm not picking a side here, but I am saying hating white males and not getting the beauty in men being productive, you know, men being productive and good men being productive and providing, you know, and how simple that it is, and how, you know, I wish everyone could have a husband like mine that's just like loves being productive, loves taking care of people in a way that he can, in a way that they appreciate, and he appreciates being appreciated, and then it just keeps going from there. And then all I have to do, really, to make my husband happy is for me to be happy. Make cups all day today, honey. Don't do anything, just make cups. Okay. You know, he notices you seem sad. What do you need to do for yourself? You know what I mean? I wish that for everybody. But we can't give that. The universe, God, highest, holiest source, creator energy, cannot give that to people who just want to hate. You're keeping it from yourself. You're keeping your own happiness away from yourself, and that's not a wrong choice. It's a valid choice. You can hate white men. You can say F them. You can hate my son, you know, my young son and all his friends. You can hate them. But I'll tell you what, the women that don't hate them are going to be very lucky, because I have an awesome husband that's creating an awesome son. He's creating an awesome man. Two of us together are building this beautiful, loving, compassionate, productive male. And my son asked me, what if I was like, and I don't remember the word he used, but it was like not manly. He goes, what if I was like that? I said, that'd be fine as long as that was your authentic self. And he's like, you wouldn't mind? You would let me just be? I said, honey, we have a lot of gay people in our family, and I love them all. I don't mind any way that anyone chooses to be. But if you take on some persona because you took on programming from manipulative controllers, then we have a problem. But if whatever you end up being is authentically you, and you're doing that out of thinking for yourself, you know, like Milo Yiannopoulos. Why are they shutting these people down? They're shutting these people down because they're not perpetuating a narrative that keeps people fighting. He's everything that is about thinking for themselves. You know? So right now, right here and now, I used to say, oh, I used to, you know, in a snarky way say, oh, white privilege, let's go to the beaches, let's go to this American soldier burial ground in Normandy, France. I used to say that all snarky like. And right now, at this moment, by my fire, in appreciation and gratitude for my husband, my dad, all the men, all the brave men that died in Normandy, France. Every single last one of those men that fought for me to have this freedom, and France to have their freedom. I just heard this funny thing. It said, I think it was a comedian talking about France's standard issue white surrender flag or something like that. France's France's standard issue white flag because Americans had to fight their battle for him, okay? I used to really be super snarky and make fun of it. And right now in this moment, March 6th, 2021, I'm going to stop being snarky about it and sarcastic about it, and in full appreciation for all the brave men and white men that have done everything that they have done to create better lives. Like, look at the inventions. Most of the inventions that they came up with in the 20th century helped make women's jobs easier. I have a dishwasher, like most people. I have a washing machine and a dryer, like most women. I have a vacuum cleaner. It just seems like those of us that are grounded and like real, we see that the strides have been made in making quote unquote typical women jobs easier, because men, you know, and society have recognized that that's the harder job. Or men saying, no, I'll do the hard jobs. How can I make your life easier? It's like my husband going to work all day long, welding, burning himself, you know, and telling me, don't do your work tomorrow. Don't do any work tomorrow. Just make those cups that you love to make. And now, what did you say about high vibration yesterday? And now I got him talking about high vibration in the shop. So my mom always said, good men aren't found, they're created. Take one that you can work with and you can mold into what you really want. So in my appreciation for my husband and my father, who just want me to have a peaceful heart, a loving heart, be loving, enjoy my life, for them, right now, I'm putting down my sarcasm and my snark for all the third wave feminism that doesn't get it. They just don't understand. I'm setting that down now, and I'm going to have nothing I'm going to work towards. Having nothing but compassion, which is love plus understanding, for all the third wave feminists bitching about the patriarchy. I love you, Renegade Yogis. I appreciate all you guys. I think we're doing a great job moving through 2021. I really do. I do feel like something's happening under the surface of everything, but I feel very strongly that as long as we just keep our vibration high, as long as today's Course in Miracles, Lesson 61, I am the light of the world. It is my only function. It is why I am here. So, tons of gratitude and appreciation for the people that made A Course in Miracles. Thinking with God's mind, thinking with the mind of God, seeing with the eyes of God. I'm going to be the light of the world as my only function. It's why I'm here. And I'm going to love as much as I can. I'm going to bless, forgive, respect the free will choices of, and love all the third wave feminists right now. And I'm just going to have compassion, love plus understanding for these women and men, because some of them are men that they just don't get it. And they're trying to fight some enemy that's not there. They create this, they allow the controllers and manipulators to create some enemy, this perceived enemy that they, in order to fight against it, they have to act like assholes, you know? I'm not going to feel sorry for them, just going to feel compassion for them. I'm not going to let them squeeze me into me being an asshole. I'm going to allow the squeezing, my irritation for perpetuating hatred for white males, or the ridiculous narrative created by the manipulators and the controllers, to move the walls in close enough for me to climb up. I don't need to fight them. They can bring their ego to a fight, want to fight me, and I could just kiss their little fist and not let my own ego come out to play and engage with the nonsense. Silence is the best response to nonsense. But I'll tell you what, I think men's empowerment's coming. I think Osho, the enlightened master from India, is correct. I think he's right. I think men's empowerment's coming. And I think the smart women, the women making wise choices, and the people making wise choices, and the grounded humans that have common sense, have access to common sense, and they can see what's going on. And they're not allowing the gaslighting to affect them. If you guys could just laugh at the nonsense, but allow the normies to be manipulated as the useful idiots of the agenda of control that they are. Allow it. Allow it. Relax. Stay grounded. Stay free. Free in body, free in mind. I do not consent. When you get approached with a suggestion by the manipulators, I do not consent. The details of the meat suit really don't matter. White, black, male, female. It's what it is. It's victimhood. It's victims and empowered people. Victims versus empowered people. And there's all colors, all genders, all sexual orientations on both sides of that. That's the real spectrum we're dealing with. Victim versus empowered. That's it. Which side do you want to be on? Victim versus empowered. I love my husband. I love my dad. I love my son. Just like the women, just like the pioneer women in the old days, who don't want you to think of them as victims. They're like, look, you could be a victim all you want in your day and age of 2021, where you have all this crap that does all this stuff for you. Your life could be so easy. You could meditate, you could read, you could learn whatever you want. You guys get to live to like 100, and we were like trying to get it all in by 55. And you guys want to act like victims. You look like douches. You look like total douchebags. You know? We had to get it all in. Some people died in childbirth. You guys have all this shit that you can enjoy. You want to act like fucking victims? Go right ahead, but don't use my life. Don't use my life to turn yourself into a fucking victim. You look like douchebags. Okay. So there really are more common sense, grounded, high vibrational, like intentional. They want high vibrational lives of peace. They want it. There are more of us out there. That's why the media had to say, oh, we expect a red mirage. It's going to appear like Trump's winning, and then you'll see the votes come in. They had to shut down counting. They had to shut that down so that they could flood. If you don't understand that meme, I didn't understand it, so I had to ask my nephew, who's a meme maker. I'm like, what is this? It's where it's like, oh, here's the two colors, and then right when it shuts down, the dementia patient's votes go straight up. It's like, it's so obvious. Just relax. Just relax. Be empowered. Empowered mind. What do you love? My husband loves welding. He loves teaching people how to weld. He loves giving people paychecks. You know, I love meditating. I love providing meditations. I love channeling dead people and dead yogis for people who are right in front of me. It's totally different. I did it on 3/3/21. I did it on Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thanks, honey. "18 years after my flying career ended, to the day. I worked really hard to get to airline pilot, professional airline pilot for an airline. And I was pissed. Listen, being a girl, the corporations, the corporate jet outfits did not want me because they thought I was going to go to the airlines, and then the airlines became the only way I could do it. Okay, well, that's just what happened. 3303, 18 years ago, I lost my airline job. And I channeled AJ and other people for a group of people right in front of me. It's what I love to do. What do you love to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What are you not doing? Count from your age to 100. How many years do you have left? Well, how long are you going to wait before you give yourself permission? Do you have to have a do you have to have a specific person in the house that happens to be white? This one specific house in the whole United States? This one particular house that just happens to be white. Are you waiting until you get the right person in there for you to be happy? And you can only be happy for 4 years? You know what I mean? Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. You guys, the meek will inherit the earth. All together, we all inherit the earth together. We're grounded, you know? We want a high vibrational life for ourselves and all others. We want to be happy. We want everyone to be happy. Health, safety, happiness for all humans everywhere. We want that. We all want that. So many of us want that we have to get manipulated to a ridiculous point in order to think. It's all gaslighting. It's the old paradigm's breaking down. It's all breaking down right now. We're here to see it. The controllers, the manipulators are losing their power. They're losing their power because of grounded individuals that desire high vibrational existence. They're losing their power because people are starting to realize how stupid, just how stupid everything's getting. It's getting so stupid that it's like, oh my God, like, it just keeps getting dumber and dumber and dumber. They just keep stepping on their dicks, is what we called it in the airlines. They keep stepping on their dicks. Listen to the comedians. Listen to JP Sears. Look at Ryan Long videos. Look at Ricky Gervais. Just listen to the comedians. I just saw somebody yesterday. The controllers that ran the old paradigm without most people knowing are losing their grip. There's more of you guys. You are the majority. You're the majority. That's why they had to stop counting. You're the majority. That's why there's so many suitcases under tables. You are the majority. That's why there's so many videotapes. You are the majority. That's why the buses showed up on January 6th. That's why people had to dress up with clothes that anyone can purchase from anywhere. Red hats, flags like capes, acting like douches, pretending to be somebody else. Because you're the majority. Don't believe what you see. The measles baby was fake. The Kentucky gun range and the explosions at the Kentucky gun range with Allahu Akbar. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's breaking down. Relax. I love you. Have a great day. What do you want? You are the majority. Common sense rules the day. Don't stress. Don't lower your vibration. Don't lower your vibration. Don't bring your ego to a fight with dumbasses. Don't do it. It's a fucking trick. It's just a trick. Don't fight with normies. It's a fucking trick. Choose empowering thoughts. Those people aren't doing anything to you. They're just fucking freaked out, wigged out, scared. They don't have control over their mind. Their hearts and minds were taken over by media. 6 corporations own 9% of all media. Don't fight with normies. Don't fight with them. It's a trick. It's a trick designed to keep the lateral fight going, to keep you from realizing freedom, gratitude, and empowerment, the 900 vibration. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. You don't want to be part of that. Love the normies. Love the controllers. With an empowered mind. I love you. You got this.